On August 4th, 2026, Rideau Transit Maintenance, East-West Connectors, Alstom, and OC Transpo proceeded to move the first LRV light rail vehicle down the new tracks from Kichi Zibi all the way to Algonquin, the final terminus of O Train Line 1. In this video, we're going to take you through this major milestone and achievement as the train passes from Kichi Zibi through 7 stations all the way to Algonquin. We're starting the voyage here at Kichi Zibi, where LRV 1117 was staged and readied for this inaugural trip down these new tracks. Kichi Zibi was formerly known as Dominion Station, located just off to the side of the Ottawa River. You can see LRV 1117 heading out from the station. It's actually going to be traveling for the most part entirely on the eastbound track, even though the train is heading on the west direction. The train is moving at a maximum speed of 5 kilometers per hour or less, and they have crews working alongside the train in front, behind, and to the sides to make sure that, the clearances, that the track, the overhead power system, that everything is working perfectly to avoid any surprises, any issues from happening as the train heads down these tracks for the very first time. There has not been a train heading down these tracks before. This is very much the very first time the trains head down on these tracks, so they're taking no chances, taking every precaution, and following it very closely. As you can see it here, coming out farther from the station, on the lead up to the ramp that would lead down into the Parkway Tunnel. And important to note that the train, once it enters the tunnel, it will stay underground until just before Lincoln Fields, with the only exception of being open to the above at the 2 intermediate stations, Sherbourne and New Orchard. As you'll see a few times in this video, the train will come to a stop, a complete stop for a decent amount of time. This is due to them, again, checking the tracks, checking the train, checking the wheels, making sure everything is working perfectly, but also the time required to safely energize the overhead catenary system that powers the train. Again, a lot of this is a construction zone still. There can be workers here and there, so they need to secure the tracks and make sure that the system is energized safely and properly to allow the train to pass through under its own power. For the purposes of this video and due to the magic of editing, some of these points where the train stops actually do last 15, 20, 30 minutes, and in some instances, especially around Lincoln Fields, the pause in the train moving was actually around 2 hours. From our editing here, we've managed to break that down to just a few seconds for your viewing pleasure. As we see the train now head down the ramp into the Parkway Tunnel, again at very low speeds. It's going to stay underground here, passing underneath the Kichi Zibi Parkway, the road, the grass. It's very exciting. As it disappears out of view, we don't have video underground, but we do know that it's passing underneath here in the alignment, underneath the road itself, and then off alongside the trees to the left, just before coming out at the far end into Sherbourne Station right over here. Again, open to the above. You can see the train just peeking through just on the right side before entering the station entirely. Now it has power, heading in at very low speeds. And definitely gives us a good sense of how it's going to look when the trains are in here. You can see the workers again following it along as the train once again comes to a stop, as they energize the next section of the overhead catenary system, an attraction power substation to power the train through the next leg of the tunnel. Again, very exciting how close these stations are to the residential area and to the commercial businesses just off to the side here on Richmond and Byron. It's going to be a great addition to the community. You can see the train now has the green go ahead to continue on as it slowly heads back into the tunnel and exits Sherbourne Station. Again, very low speeds. And it's amazing to think that this is the very first time an LRV passes through these stations, passes along these tracks. The very first time. As it continues on underneath the old Byron Linear Park. So as the train passes underneath, we're going to pass above. Pretty much takes a nearly straight shot to the next station at New Orchard. And this whole area is going to be redone for the next little bit. Final paving and alignment of the road, a reinstatement of the Byron Linear Park, the grass, the trees, the pathways in the middle, weaving its way around the stations where they are. As we pass over Woodruff Avenue. Great addition to the community, these two new stations. Before you would leave Dominion, which is now Kichi Zibi, and the buses wouldn't stop until Lincoln Fields. So now we have these two infill stations. Great for this community. Going to be a major bonus and benefit to everyone living around here and for businesses around here to have a rapid transit way of getting through this area and reaching it. As you can see now, the LRV entering New Orchard Station. Still always at low speeds. You can see Sherbourne off in the far distance. As the train continues to enter. And we'll come to a stop just underneath the station entrance itself, where the stairs, escalator, I shouldn't say escalator, but the elevator and stairs are located. Continuing on beyond here, it's going to have the track pass underneath Richmond Road, come out of the western portal, come back to grade, to line up to reach Lincoln Fields. And at this point, the train will stay above ground for the rest of the line. So you can see it now heading into Lincoln Field Station, the new bus loop off to the left, train station in the middle. And the train now is going to be heading in on the left track here. That's actually going to be used as the eastbound track and platform heading downtown to Blair to Trim. The other two platforms are going to be the westbound. So technically, if this was real regular service, it would be on the middle track right now. You can see the bus loop off to the side as the LRV comes in nice and slowly and stops at the end of the platforms here at Lincoln Fields. You can see the western portal of the tunnel off in the distance, how the tracks branch off from 2 into 3. So on the far right, the track going back downtown, Blair, Trim, the middle track going towards Algonquin and Moody, and the far track to the very left would be special service going towards Moody, you know, late night or weekends when they have specific service patterns happening. Now we can see the train passing underneath Carling Avenue, coming up towards this major switch point just south of Lincoln Fields, where the tracks branch off even further from 2 to 3 to now 4 tracks. 2 tracks are going to head off to Algonquin on line 1, and the other 2 tracks will head off on line 3 towards Moody. The line 3 tracks will actually fly over line 1, so you're going to see that in a little bit here after the train just passed underneath the Woodruff High School pedestrian bridge crossing and is now taking the line 1 tracks towards Algonquin. Once again, the crew following very closely behind the train, making sure that everything is working fine, listening, looking for any signs of any trouble. So from there we came from Lincoln Fields. The tracks weave around a little bit here to pass underneath the 417 highway and the old Queensway station, which is no longer in use. And you can see here the LRV is peeking out from just underneath the Queensway. As they stop again to do some checks to power up the overhead power systems to proceed into our next stop, Iris. So you can see the train back in motion, coming through this really nice green area. Lots of trees, lots of mature trees, grass, bush. It's going to be a really interesting area when you're riding the train to be able to pass through. Lots of green vegetation and color in this area. Train passing through here again at low speeds, with the handlers keeping a close eye on everything. It's great to see that the train did make it from one end to the other, seemingly without any issues. Definitely a testament to all the hard work that has been put into building and checking all of the infrastructure. We can see it now heading into the Iris station. It's going to come to a stop just along the eastbound platform. Again, we're still heading west, although at this point we're heading more in a south direction. That's pretty much what the train's going to look like once it's inside Iris station. Beautiful glass canopy work and lots of green around. The landscaping really is starting to take shape in and around the station itself. And what's really nice here is you can see the creek off to the side. It's really going to spring up again once nature reclaims its place and takes over again. Going to be lots of green, lots of water. It's going to be quite stunning around here. So the train continues on, having left Iris off in the distance there, passing through this foresty area. You can see Iris off in the distance, continues on, will pass underneath Baseline Road, just quite wide. And you can see the LRV here stopped once again as they prepare to do the final couple hundred meters into Algonquin Station. So you can see College Square, shopping plaza just off to the side there. The LRV is stopped, getting ready to energize the overhead power systems, make sure everything is secure before proceeding on this final little leg of the journey. Now, our apologies. Unfortunately, we do not have video, very sadly, of the train entering the station after having flown the drone for quite a decent amount of time. The batteries definitely were pretty much at the beyond depleted state, and we also needed to reposition our fixed camera to be able to get the entry. By the time we accomplished all that, the train had already entered the station, so unfortunately we don't have video to be able to show that. Entering the station here, center platform, train tracks on both sides. There's also storage tracks inside Algonquin Station, so they'll be able to store a number of trains here at this facility. Thanks very much for watching this historic milestone. First time a train heads down the tracks from Kichi Zibi all the way to Algonquin. Definitely a sign of much more testing to come over the next months and year.